Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Oh, there's some people that feel a certain way because FBA was finally mentioned in mainstream news by Tucker Carlson. And somebody that is running a political figure called James Fishback against Byron Donald. So they really got into not only saying what FBA was, but also they proceeded to call, especially James Fishback, called Byron Donalds a tether, which was funny coming from some white dude. But that's what happened. And we're going to watch the interview and we're going to watch also people's reaction. And it's our people to what was said and how they felt about the whole thing. So this will be quite interesting, y'all, if nothing else. So shalom, shalom to everybody in the chat. So I tell you what, it seems like, especially the foreigners online, they absolutely do hate FBA. When you go over on TikTok, you really see it a lot. And they spend an awful lot of time chattering about us. But these are the same ones, like the light bulb head Somalians that will tell us we're jealous of them. We ain't never been jealous of a Somalian a day in our life. And I can assure you that is never going to happen. Not only with them, but you Nigerians that make the same claim, and you folks from Ghana. We ain't jealous of nobody that came over here from Africa, because all we got to do is go to a video and look at how decimated your home country is. Y'all crack me up. You'll leave these little, and Donald Trump ain't lying when he say it's a shithole. It really is. The only good thing is y'all got all those resources over there. But as far as taking care of these villages and places you come out of, y'all don't take care of them places. It is trash everywhere. Y'all even throw your clothes out to the streets. I guess things you don't want no more. Yeah, y'all, it's just piles. I was looking at a city a few weeks ago, and right in the heart of the city is piles and piles and piles of trash. Y'all don't take pride in your home country. You keep trying to tell us and trying to make us believe you're so advanced. Y'all still got dirt roads. There's places out there that don't even have outdoor lights. So when it goes dark at night, it's pitch black. Some of those places y'all live in are makeshift. You got tin roofs and the houses, anything you can get your hand on and nail it on up there. That's your house. But you want us to come to this belief that y'all are just so much more advanced and better over there. You're lying. That's why when ice catch up to your butts, y'all all breaking out in tears because you don't want to go back there. That's why y'all don't even pay no attention to these people when they try to talk about their home country, and their home country looks like garbage. And then they'll say, well, we got a home country. You don't have a home. Yes, we do. We got a home called America. And I can assure you, it don't look nothing like your country. We at least take care of our country. Y'all don't do nothing but just live in it. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. All right, let me share my screen so we can get started. And unfortunately, you're going to have to live through Byron Donalds babbling. And this man, running for governor of Florida, is no way in hell he will win. He ain't going to win that race, y'all. He ain't going to win. All right. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
My mother's Jamaican. My father's Panamanian. You have a lot of Black people in this country who are not descendants of the American slave trade.
Look,
So our Black people in America who aren't going to be able to get that kind of benefit or get reparations. But most people who are for reparations, they feel like it should go to what they call foundational Black Americans anyway. And I agree with that point. I agree with that point. But I'm just saying, I'm just laying out, these are the reasons for why I'm no.
look,
So while I'm sitting down,
Do support reparations for what Leonard just deemed as, quote, foundational Black Americans?
no, I
No.
don't. No, but I want to explain that. I want to explain.
and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we want to sever ties with these people. This is why. This man's name is Byron Donalds. He is a congressman, a Republican United States representative in the state of Florida. Do you know what congressmen do? They actually create bills, legislation, and basically they help to facilitate and make laws. What will reparations be? It could either be a bill or a law. And this motherfucker immediately know, because he's a Jamaican Panamanian. He's an immigrant, and he will not be able to get any of those benefits. And this is the issue. This is the issue. Why people that have the same hue of complexion as us, they get into positions of power and they undermine us. And this is why we say we don't want to fuck with them like that no more, because we helped them to get into position. We did, thinking that skin folk was kinfolk. And now we're starting to see clear as day that they will never, ever pass or put anything into play to solely benefit us. But they will do shit for immigrants. They will pass bills and laws for immigrants. They will allocate funds simply and strictly and only and exclusively for immigrants. Y'all see how that go? Y'all see how that go? Yeah, people keep saying we need unity, we need unity. What the fuck are we benefiting from these people? They don't even fuck with us. And when they get in positions where they could do something for us, they're gonna say no if they're not benefiting from it. But they will, like I said, we got to run it back again. They will do something that's going to only solely benefit them. We have to continue to wake the fuck up. We cannot keep this. We all the same hue of complexion. The cops gonna stop us and we all gonna get, it's a trick bag at this point. It's a trick bag. And there's so many of people with the same exact mindset in politics that have the ability to vote for certain bills and laws and have the ability to veto certain bills and laws. This is so fucked up. These people came over here because of what our ancestors been through, their blood, sweat, and tears. And this is the thanks that we get. He wouldn't even be able to sit where he's sitting right now had it not been for foundational Black Americans. He wouldn't even be able to wear that suit. He wouldn't be able to walk into the White House. He wouldn't be able to fucking sit on his high horse. He wouldn't even have that title. He wouldn't have even been able to go to college. He wouldn't have even been able to come over here. It is a slap in the face, and it is a fucking disrespect to our ancestors. And we have to do something about this. Us just talking about it, we're starting to get the ball rolling. We gotta keep this going, because this really just made my blood boil. And a lot of them are in these positions, and they share these same exact sentiments. What y'all think about this? Spread love, is the Brooklyn way.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, it's getting crazy, right? You know, now that the FBA delineation movement is picking up steam, and you have these people from the radical right and the radical left, conservatives, sellouts, all kinds of people, right, coming out now and using the talking points. And after today, and after this video, these W folks, they can no longer act like they don't understand what FBA is and what we're saying. These immigrants, because I don't want to call everyone a temple, they can't act like they don't understand what we're saying, because they know full well what it is that we're saying, what it is that we're asking for, and how we've been duped, and how a lot of things that was written and the way things were written was actually written against us when we thought it was in our favor. Because we didn't have things that were specifically said for the Negro colored people. They said for all people of color, of jurisdiction thereof, and all kinds of different words that they wanted to use of all peoples. And so now it turned into POC and all people of color. But now you have this dude, James Fishback, who's running for governor down there in Florida, and Byron Donalds, who's a tether immigrant, who speaks out against our reparations. He's not for us, right? But he's cosplaying as us, right? And we're calling it out. We're saying, no, this dude don't represent us. He represents those people over there. He speaks for those people. Don't speak on our behalf. Don't mention us. Don't at all. Now, let's first, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, let's look at Byron Donalds and how he spoke out against our reparations first.
Black. Now, let me translate to what's happened in California. So there was a bill in California for reparations. The California Assembly, which is massively Democrat, they didn't move that bill. They could have moved that bill. When they were asked why they weren't moving that bill, they tucked tail and turned and ran away. They didn't even have the guts to actually answer that question. So I'm here with y'all. I'll tell you why I'm a no. But you have Democrats who will say they're for something, but when it comes time to actually do it, they're not there for you. They say they run away. They don't answer the question, and to be blunt, like the current vice president, not answering a lot of questions.
But she did say that she's for reparations.
After she said she wasn't. So which one is it?
No, she knows that she wasn't.
That's never happened.
Okay.
That's a false narrative.
All right, that's fine. I'm gonna let
I mean, she was here when she said.
But we have a history of racism in America.
So you are for some type of
Yes, I am.
reparation. Okay.
Yes, I am.
I'm not gonna challenge.
Yeah.
I'm almost challenge.
But I guess the question is, Congressman, you say that you're not for reparations, then you go on to say that there are a lot of elected officials. We know that racism is a bipartisan problem, right? So on that, do you know who was the father of affirmative action?
No, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know the answer to that one.
The answer is a Republican by the name of Dr. Arthur Fletcher, who worked, you brought up Richard Nixon earlier. He worked with Richard Nixon, but I've noted that you are opposed to affirmative action. Again, another policy that would democratize access to all of the things that you've talked about today, including economic access for Black people. So on that,
What do you want Black people to have, Byron?
I want them to have everything. I want them to have access to everything that this nation can do when it's running right.
how do
So why
but-
be against the legislation that provides that? Then?
Because you have a situation now where the real question is, do you need affirmative action today? Not did you need affirmative action? The answer to that is 100% yes. You absolutely needed it. The question is in 2024, in 2028, in 2032, do you need that now? I would argue the thing you need more now is you got to have equality in terms of the level of academic attainment for young Black kids. What a young Black kid needs more now than anything today is to be able to read and write, read at grade level, write at grade level, do math at grade level, and frankly, and beyond. That's what they need to do.
You know, Byron, I don't disagree with you, but I just don't trust white supremacy that much.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I feel like you need that type of legislation. I feel like you need those guardrails in place to make sure to protect, yes, and to make sure those type of things happen.
Now that was him on the Breakfast Club, right? And he was on there with Angela Rye and Charlemagne, and he was speaking as a true immigrant, married to a W woman, right? He's not speaking on behalf of us. He doesn't come from the soil. And he was saying like, yo, these things wouldn't be for me, so why would I be for it, right? But too many of these people come here and they been here for 2 days and they come on the block like they're shot calling, like they're calling the shots. So now you have Tucker Carlson, right? And we know that these people are W supremacists, right? We know that these people are not allies to us, right? But the same way that they want to use our talking points and use us as a catalyst to go against Byron Donalds, we're going to use them now as the same thing to work in our favor. So now you're speaking on FBA, you're acknowledging, UW folks are acknowledging what we've been through and what your people did to us, right? And what's supposed to be deserving of us, right? And knowing that our talking points is right, you guys are acknowledging this. So now when we come up with our reparations claim, right, going all the way back to Eleanor Roosevelt and Mary Bethune-McLeod, all the way back to President Roosevelt, we was trying to get anti-lynching bills passed, right? We've been fighting this fight and things that's been on the books way a long time ago. You guys are well aware of this because now you're invoking it to go against Byron Donalds and say Byron Donalds' mother's Jamaican, His father's Panamanian. He is not a Black American, so he should not be speaking on behalf of the Black Americans, right? That's what you guys are saying, right? So this Fishback dude is basically saying that he's fighting where immigrants shouldn't be able to come here and buy up all the real estate and all the properties, right? And create them in the Airbnbs. Young couples getting married should better have first dibs on buying homes. If you're an immigrant, you shouldn't be able to just come here and just buy up homes. And he's trying to do some things, and he's invoking FBAs in that argument, right? Check this out.
And I think this idea of the party labels has become a hall of mirrors. That's for sure. Right? What you see isn't what you get. I mean, by the way, Byron Donalds, as of right now, still endorses Randy Fine's re-election bid, despite that star play.
Come on.
And they tried to cancel you for having a conversation with a certain someone. He's literally endorsing a member of Congress who told innocent children who were literally starving on video to starve away. That tells you everything you need to know about my opponent, Byron Donalds.
What I know Byron, and I've always gotten along with him. He's super cheerful. I didn't realize, is he ideological? I've never detected that.
No. That's why I call him a slave.
Yeah. And they called you a racist for that?
They did. Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting, in their words, that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery, that a single descendant of Americans.
Now, that part, this white dude just lied. This James Fishback, he just lied. There is no FBA society organization down there in Florida, because he's trying to make it seem like they reached out to him. Now, I think he might have interacted with people that are FBA and they told him about Byron Donald, but nobody called him from no FBA society. That does not exist. So dude just lied right there. But let's go on. You know what? They may be talking like this, y'all, but at the end of the day, these two men are still white supremacists. So that's why I'm reluctant. I hear some people kind of happy that it got acknowledged. Yeah, but it got acknowledged by white supremacists. And we know how fast they flip. They're talking like this today, and by tomorrow, they'll be talking disparagingly about FBA. That's why you got to really be careful with these dudes. But he just lied. But let's go on.
Slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives. I'll listen to you. Like you've
100%.
You've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of Black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's
Literally.
a fair perspective,
right?
I think.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating a struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
And the struggle of slavery was real. I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real, right? But for
we're against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere. Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally you took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agreed to take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented. You know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now. But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too. You're not. And that's a very interesting term that the Foundational Black Americans use. It's called tether. They're tethering these tethers like Byron Donalds. They come here literally one generation in, and they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle and we're all down on and we need to fight against. No, you just got here, dude. Like the Haitians, like the guys from Ghana who just got here, you don't get to just be a part of our system and then lecture us about how our country went wrong.
Well, and if you're a Republican, supposedly conservative Republican, to throw around the term racist, I mean, that's what I'll speak for myself. I voted against that in November last year.
Right.
I don't like that style of non-argument. Just dismiss someone off the top. You're a bad person. I don't have to respond to your specific charge against me. I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
I thought aren't we opposed to that? Identity politics?
100%. And I'll tell you, the identity politics of the right is probably the greatest it's ever been, but it's actually codified into law, which is the scariest
I've
part.
noticed that.
Right? You know, say what you want, but left-wing identity politics never criminalized being a racist to a black person. In that sense, like there was never a hate speech law against, which would have been unjust, to call out a black person or black culture or anything like that. I think that's deplorable to single out any, as a Christian, I would, of course, condemn that.
No, of course.
Bear with me, friends. I'm going to play a clip from Tucker Carlson's show. He's interviewing James Fishback, who is running for Florida governor as a Republican. If you recall, I posted a video over here where James called Byron Donalds a slave. And so James is defending that using a very interesting talking point that many of you will recognize from the Black community. Again, I am not defending Byron at all. Can't stand him. This whole discussion couldn't happen to a better person. However, I do think this is an interesting progression of events, if you will.
Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican. He is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting, in their words, that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery as not a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Reek Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives. I'll listen to you. Like you've got a point of view that is legitimate. I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's a fair perspective,
right?
I think.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating a struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
The struggle of slavery was real. I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real, right? But
we're against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere. Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally you took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agreed to take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented. You know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now. But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too. You're not. And it's a very interesting term that the Foundational Black Americans use. It's called tether. They're tethering these tethers like Byron Donalds. They come here literally one generation in, and they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle and we're all down on and we need to fight against. No, you just got here, dude. Like the Haitians, like the guys from Ghana who just got here, you don't get to.
All right, I should have started with this. I do not tolerate xenophobic comments in my comments. You'll get blocked, deleted, embarrassed, whatever I feel like in the moment. On the flip side, I also do not tolerate slick comments about the African-American ethnic group. I'm a member of that ethnic group. I don't tolerate that. And a lot of you all are using this moment to get off little jabs at us. And I'm going to eat you up on that every single time. You can ask the people that be in my lives. I don't play about that. Because I do think there is something, you dismiss this movement at your peril. This movement has attached itself to, it's an alt-right pipeline for damn sure. It's attached itself to conservative talking points, especially around immigration, which I think is a huge fail and a huge misstep for this movement. That's just my opinion. But there is something at the core of the movement that talks about erasure, recognition for the contributions of this particular ethnic group, that I think if you dismiss that That's a problem. And I think when you do that, you also prove their point. So we can have conversations about the issues with this group without going there. And if you go there, I'm gonna go there with you. I'm going to hell with you. Okay. Anywho, Byron deserves this. Byron deserves this because during Kamala Harris' campaign, there was this whole thing about Kamala Harris not being Black. And this is kind of a semantic kind of thing. People from this movement believe the term Black came from us as people in America, that we created this term Black, and that it's been kind of pushed around the world, but it's our term. So when they say Black, to them, they think the word Black means African Americans who are descendants of enslaved people. And so that's where that comes from. So when you start having people like Ann Coulter, Donald Trump, and also Byron Donalds saying that Kamala Harris isn't Black, we got a problem. And I know somebody who follows this movement, which is very much a path to the alt-right. It's an alt-right pipeline for doggone sure. I remember when that clip came out, I said, now look at here. You got Ann Coulter, you got all these white people, and Byron, who, according to y'all, is also not Black, based off these rules that y'all made. You have them all saying that Kamala Harris ain't Black. I feel like we've lost the plot, have we not? Have we not lost the plot? The plot was lost. Now, also be very careful there. They are pretending as though, yeah, we believe they have a claim to heritage Americans. Okay, but when the chances are, when there's opportunities to establish that, they gonna skip right over us. Like, don't get too comfortable with people like that saying that. When he talks about how we don't want to whitewash slavery, but y'all do, especially in this current administration, y'all do, and y'all don't call that out. Y'all sit over there in your privilege and sit back and are shocked when we are calling it out. There's an extreme whitewashing of slavery, the civil rights movement, all of that happening right now. The other thing, this isn't a defense of Byron. It's more so just correcting history here, their ahistorical take. While Byron is not a descendant of enslaved people, based on his countries of origin, he is likely the descendant of enslaved. I'm sorry, he's the descendant of enslaved Americans. He is likely the descendant of enslaved people from those islands. So, Fishback would have never called Byron a slave if he was white. So you don't get a pass on that for me, on that kind of language. That language is very inappropriate. My other big thing for this too, if y'all gonna sit up here and play in our faces and talk about, oh yeah, I agree. Run us our money. As MLK said, we coming to DC, we come to get our check. If y'all want to say all this, give us our money.
Look, y'all know I had to talk about this right here. You feel me? Tucker Carlson and James Fishback. Yeah, Tucker Carlson, he was out here. He acknowledged the lineage. You feel me? He did throw it at a heritage American thing. You feel me? I was kind of a little confused. You feel me? But James Fishback also called Byron Donald a tether, which Byron Donald is a tether. But my thing was more of that's cool and all you call bruh that, but what's up with them policies though? Y'all got to start talking more about policies that's going to help us Black Americans out. You feel me? That's cool. You using our lingo and calling people tethers and all, but if y'all ain't including that, then all this is some symbolic BS. Anyway, full episode on Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube. Y'all been going over there. I've been appreciated. Also, y'all let me know in the comments below how y'all feel.
Black American Society here in Florida, who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting, in their words, that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery, not a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
And look, they're foundational guys. They're so good, Reek Nasheed and all. I mean, I agree with everything, but they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, your families have been here 400 years. I think that gives. I'll listen to you. Like you've got you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're unequivocally heritage Americans.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. We heritage Americans. Absolutely, we are. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of Black people. It's like, shut up, honey. What to do with this?
Right.
Their perspective.
Right. And so it's good to actually see them called out for that.
Yeah.
It's actually cool.
You know what's sad to me? What's sad to me is that Tucker Carlson is the first person to really make foundational Black Americans, ethnic Black Americans, and break it mainstream. It's a mainstream American politics.
Facial guys. It's so good. Sheet and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but like they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, your families have been here 400 years. I don't that well. I think that gives, I'll listen to you. Like you've got, you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think. Yeah.
When our own people, our own ethnic Black Americans, foundational Black Americans could have done this, but we're so scared to do it and just so like such sellouts that they didn't want to do it. And it's sad that this is what made it like these people made it mainstream, like on mainstream, like instead of arguing with us, recognized it on a mainstream level on a national or international platform. And it's just sad. Like our people are like, this is a grassroots movement, but our people who are in very key positions are too scary to talk about it. But Tucker Carlson isn't. Man, we really need to stop, giving these celebrities and people in these high positions that we put them in, ethnic Black Americans put them in. We need to stop. We really need to stop letting them, we need to, I don't know what we need to do, but we might need to delineate from them too.
Remember when you was in school and someone was talking reckless and greasy in front of the teacher? Then after school, you walk up to them and be like, what was that you said? That's how I feel about these immigrants. It doesn't matter your color. Check this out. Byron Donalds is called a tether twice. And I'm going to play the clip. And remember, you guys kept saying, oh my God, it's only online. Y'all in trouble. Fishback was on an interview with Tucker Carlson. I want you to hear what Tucker Carlson said about foundational Black Americans. Also, I'm going to play this clip right quick to show you why we have to get these immigrants out of politics. Check this out.
My mother's Jamaican. My father's Panamanian. You have a lot of Black people in this country who are not descendants of the American slave trade. So I already know off top, there's a lot of Black people in America who aren't going to be able to get that kind of benefit or get reparations. Well, most people who are for reparations, they feel like it should go to what they call foundational Black Americans. That's the reasons why I know.
You guys are not going to continue to use our support to work against us. Now check this out.
Unfortunately, when we have immigrants to come into our country, Americans can't do politics. We have to be able to do politics for Americans.
Well, that's right. And let's just be completely honest of what Byron Donalds is. Byron Donalds is a tether. He is not an American descendant.
Wait a minute, James.
Snaps.
Tether.
He is a tether.
I know Byron, and I've always gotten along with him. He's super cheerful. I didn't realize, is he ideological? I never detected that.
No. So I call him a slave. And they called you a racist for that? They did. It was actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican. He is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting in their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery. He's not a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys. They're so good. Sheet and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but like they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives, I'll listen to you. Like you guys, you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure. 100%. Definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of Black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with that.
Now, did you guys hear him say you have nothing to do with issues concerning Black Americans, copper-colored people, and you're running your mouth? Now, I'm not jumping on Fishback or Carlson's train, not at all. But I enjoy knowing and seeing that they are hearing us and they're listening to us. And the whole world is seeing how you melanated and non-melanated immigrants came here riding off our coattails and had the nerve to be anti-Black American. Now you have to stand up on your own 2 feet without our help, without our resources, and let us see what you can do.
Okay. So, y'all, this is how I feel. At the end of the day, okay, they shouted out FBA, but do you still trust the white man? Okay. Do you still trust him? No, I mean, it just gave you a little recognition. I don't see it beyond that. because you're still dealing with the same racist system, the same racism. Nothing has changed. This ain't going to change nothing. You just got shouted out. That's all. And like I said, I don't trust this. Yeah, today, FBA and those guys over there, and by tomorrow, the same person that says all of this will be dragging you and throwing dirt on the FBA name. You can't trust these people. They flip too much. They flip entirely too much. But I wanted to put this out here because I saw so many people were jumping on it, and some people were being all happy because Tucker Carlson said something. Me, I could take it or leave it. That's how I feel. I mean, we know the history of these people. Don't get carried away with this thing, for real. Don't get carried away. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I do have another live coming up at 1:45. Donald Trump is making threats on Cuba and threatening to cut off their oil. Now, I told y'all already they're going through starvation on the island of Cuba. The unemployment is high. A lot of people are homeless in Cuba. They done lost their homes and they're sleeping on the streets. So now Donald Trump, and they already said, without that oil, Cuba will completely collapse. Now, do you think Donald Trump care about old brown Cuba down there? He don't give a crap about that place, and he don't give a crap if they collapse. So he's pretty much hanging the oil over their head. Now, remember, he just on Friday, he was trying to convince the US major oil companies to invest in Venezuela, and they all pretty much told Donald Trump no. So now I guess he's desperate for somebody to buy that oil. But see, Donald Trump don't want to give them the oil without his terms and conditions. And that is your problem right there. So he wants to lay down some rules on Cuba before he gives them the oil. So, no, in other words, manipulate them and step on them and get whatever resources he can out of them. It's a bunch of BS at the end of the day. So, y'all, thank you for being here again. Thank you. I'm more than 54% of the way on donations. So thank you so much for that. I deeply appreciate all that you have given. And like I said, I pray the Most High will give it all back to you tenfold, because it is going to a cause that's going to help me a lot. So, y'all, I will see you at 1:45. Have a wonderful day.